Welcome to EPCOT and another episode of Is This Really the Best Choice? And is it going to be worth it? Join me. Today, I was answering comments and hanging out, and I saw someone live on TikTok at the Creation Shop, and they have the mug. And if you have been following along, you know how hard we've been looking for this mug. So, we left the house, put on honestly the first thing I could grab, brushed my teeth, and I just ran out. So we're now headed at a blistering pace toward the Creation Shop to hopefully get this mug. I do not know how this will turn out, but I am taking you with me. So let's do it. All right, we're in. A little bit of drama coming in today. Talk about that a little bit later because I can barely breathe as I'm power walking. I'm wearing pants as well today. I don't know what I was thinking. I just grabbed something. Okay, let's make our way over. We are so close. My calves are burning. Oh, will it happen? What do you guys think? Ugh. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And just like that, we're leaving. Look, it's crazy right now here at EPCOT. Let me turn around. Can't really see it from this area, but the people. Oh my goodness, the people. Honestly, this is why I say you should get here before the 11 o'clock rush, because it's crazy in there. Now, one of the things that I do want to talk about really briefly as we walk our way to the car, which I think is the direction to the car. It's this general vicinity, but I did not take my own advice and write down or log where I was, mainly because my car has that find me feature where I can get GPS coordinates, so I can cheat very easily. But you should never do what I'm doing right now and just assume or just run through the parking lot essentially. But anyway, you don't have to take any of the advice that I provide. In fact, while you could consider what I do as providing advice, I would say that what I do is just document the situation and tell you what I think. Now, for some people, what I think is not what they think is a good idea. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. For other people, what I think is gospel. And so, we found the car, by the way. No app required. For other people, what I think is gospel. And so, they would never not do what I do. Not necessarily because I suggest it, but because it's what they think is the best course of action. Oh goodness, you can really see how sweaty and gross I am, but we're going with it. This is just the situation today, okay? This is what happens when you speed walk through the park to buy a coffee mug. You drip, especially when you're not prepared. All you have had today is a cup of coffee and you're leaving the house without any of what you normally bring with you. But that's neither here nor there. Here's the point that I'm trying to get at. I provide you with my experience so that you can make your own decisions. And just because I know that this isn't necessarily the clearest detail, but just because I think that it's crowded, or I tell you that this is why you don't come this time of day, doesn't mean that you can't come this time of day or that you can't have a positive experience if you do. You can come this time of day. You can have a positive experience, but you need to be aware of it. You need to be aware of what you're getting yourself into. And honestly, a lot of this comes from what I hear out in the wild. I'll hear people talking about how they can't believe it's so crowded this far after the park opened. But that, yes, it is this crowded because people just like you have waited. So for me, it's about sharing my experience so that you can get a better idea of what to expect and so that you can work out the fine details. Also, I want to talk a little bit about why we did what we did today. I don't know exactly how much I already shared with you, but here's the deal. I'm going to go home first, cool off, because this can't be good to look at. You know what I mean? Like, and then we'll talk about it. So let's get out of here and I'll meet you in a couple minutes. Okay, we're back home now and I'm cool, but definitely still glistening quite a bit. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I want to talk a little bit about merchandise and the way we shop at Walt Disney World, because that's really what all of this was about today. Like, this craziness all stems from shopping. So let's get into it. Now, if you're going to be visiting Disney in the future, there are some things you need to be aware of, especially if you plan on buying souvenirs, especially if you plan on buying specific souvenirs. And that is that the way that we shop at Disney kind of has had to change a little bit since the parks reopened in 2020. There are a number of reasons that this might be the case. I'm not going to get into them here, but the long and short of it is that back when I was going to Disney when I was growing up, and honestly, I don't know, I don't want to say like even in 2019, because that wasn't really the case in 2019, but I was there during the Christmas holiday, so it's a whole different thing. But back when I was a kid, the way we would do things, the rule would be we would have our entire vacation, we would keep in mind the stuff that we really wanted, and then at the end of the trip we would go to downtown Disney, currently Disney Springs, or whatever other shops, and we would buy the stuff we really wanted. And this was great because it cut down on like impulse buys, and it cut down on the money, it could cut down on the money that you were spending. But this isn't really a feasible way of shopping at Disney anymore. Now we have to change the way we do things. And this is for, like I said, this is for a few different reasons, but mainly it's because of two things. Number one, the merchandise isn't hanging around for a long time. Things are here one day, they're gone the next, and they might show back up later, but we're talking about weeks or sometimes even months later. So if you're here on vacation and you see something, the chance that it'll still be there later is less than it would have been, I don't know, 10 years ago or 5 years ago or whatever the case may be. But the other thing is that merchandise moves from place to place. So I overheard this back in 2021. I don't know if this is still the case, but it seems to be, based on what I've been seeing, if there isn't enough merch to fill shelves at a particular location, they may take merchandise from other places and bring it to that location to fill shelves. And that presents a problem because in some cases you've seen this plush at one place and then you go back to get it and it's gone. You have no idea where it is, and it turns out it's at a resort or it's wherever else. So this is one of those things that seems to be happening. It's harder to track down, find, and then ultimately buy certain things. And so my advice when it comes to shopping right now at Walt Disney World is to buy the stuff that you want, especially if you really, really want it, when you see it. And I know there are people who continue to make the mistake of waiting, because I hear it every time I'm in a shop. People will be like, oh my goodness, look at this backpack, this is so cool. And I'll see that there are like 6 on the shelf. And they'll say, well, I don't want to carry it around all day, we'll just come back later. I can almost guarantee that it won't be there. Like, if nothing else, there's a 50-50 chance that it won't be there later. And so this is something you need to be aware of if you are shopping at Disney right now. You want to grab what you want when you see it and just handle it. Whether you are carrying it around all day and just toughing it out, or if you see some stuff you really want, get yourself a locker. If you don't want to go all the way back to your car or all the way back to your resort, get yourself a locker, stash it in the locker until it's time for you to leave. And that's another option too. Now, in the past, you used to be able to do this like resort, what was it called? I want to say like resort pickup, where you could fill out a form and they would send it to your resort and you could just pick it up from the gift shop at your resort. They're not doing that right now. And honestly, I think they should. Bobby, if you're listening, the amount of money that people aren't spending because they have to lug the stuff they buy around all day, it's worth bringing that back. They'll spend more. I can almost guarantee it. But I've seen all of this myself, and that's why we're talking about it. I've seen things be there one minute and gone the next. I've seen it happen during my trips where I'll like go through a store to get some AC at the beginning of my trip, and I'm like, oh, look how cool that is. And then when I go back, it's completely gone. Another thing, while I'm thinking about it, another thing that you can do, especially with really popular merchandise like food and wine merch, is check Shop Disney, because Shop Disney has a lot of the stuff and you won't have to carry it around. You won't have to put it in your luggage and take it home. Like, it'll just get sent to your house. And currently, as you're watching this, Shop Disney has all of the food and wine merch online. So you can buy it from there, have it sent right to your house, and you won't have to worry about it. It's perfect. And some of it's on discount. Like some of these items end up on discount. But anyway, so I've seen this happen a lot. I see a lot of people make this mistake and they end up not getting something. And since today we did a bunch of running around, I wanted to tell you like about an experience that I had. Now, if you've followed along with some of my adventures in the past, you know that I've been looking for a coffee mug. And I originally heard about this coffee mug on a website that talks about like when things are released, and I was here when this article was posted. So Russ sent me a message and he was like, this coffee mug is available. He told me where it was available. I went there, and by the time I got to it, they were like, no, it's been sold out for a couple days. So the post wasn't like the most accurate, but I also might have seen it a little late. It is what it is. And of course, after that happened, I went home and haven't been back to Disney until April when we moved out here. And I've been keeping my eye out, paying close attention. And then the other day, I don't even think I told this story, but the other day I was at EPCOT and I had seen that the mugs had been back at Magic Kingdom. So I was like, oh, I wonder if they're at EPCOT. Like, I wonder if they're going to be at EPCOT. And kept looking, didn't see anything. And then this one day I went over and someone was stocking the shelves, but they didn't have the mugs I was looking for. And I was like, oh well, whatever. But a cast member came up from behind me and took a mug and said this was a return and put it back on the shelf. And so I said, I'll take it. And I went to go reach for it, but the cast member that was stocking shelves grabbed it and called to another guest who apparently had asked about it before. And the original cast member was like, no, she saw it first. But by the time that anyone realized that I had been like reaching for it, the other guy was gone. And so, you know, it is what it is. But today, like I mentioned earlier, I was reading some comments and I happened to flip through one of my apps and I saw someone live at the Creation Shop and there were the coffee mugs. And so I was like, I don't have a park pass for EPCOT today. My park pass is for Magic Kingdom. I wonder if I can switch it. So I went in the app, switched it, and basically ran into the closet to get some clothes, put on whatever I could, and run out the door. I wasn't prepared, nothing, but that's what I did. And it paid off because I got the coffee mug. And I want to show it to you real quick because I think it's pretty cool. I'm not a collector of Starbucks mugs or anything like that, but EPCOT is my favorite park, and I was so sad when I couldn't get this coffee mug the first time around because it has a bunch of things from some of my favorite attractions from when I was a kid, as well as some of the new stuff. So I got the mug. I'm really excited. I'm really happy. Now, there were a number of mugs there when I arrived, but again, I arrived within an hour of seeing the live. So I don't know, and I don't know if there will still be mugs there now, and quite frankly, I don't think that they're gonna last the day. But I do just want to add this like cautionary little tidbit. I don't think that what I did today was the wisest choice. Because now my park pass reservation is for EPCOT. I won't be able to go to Magic Kingdom until 2 o'clock, which is fine. But if you're here on vacation, that might not necessarily work out for you. So just be aware of that. But I also think that there's a really good chance that you can find yourself making this trip and not having the merchandise there. It happens all the time. And just because you see this or you see a post doesn't necessarily mean that the merchandise is available today for you, like when you're watching this. So anyway, yeah, I know that this is kind of like haphazard and quick, but that's today's adventure. Thanks for joining me. I'd love to know your thoughts on buying souvenirs and like what exactly you do when you come to Disney. Do you have like a method where you wait until the last day? Do you shop Disney? How do you do it? What do you think is the best course of action? Let us know in the comments down below. But for now, I'm gonna head inside and I'm going to shower because I'm icky. And I will see you guys tomorrow.